So children, without wasting any time, we were doing the chapter, the National Movement 1935 to 42. And we had discussed a lot of things in this chapter. Cripps mission, Quit India mission, everything was done. Okay. We have to start with Subhash Chandra Bose. So let's come to that. Okay. So here we are. Subhash Chandra Bose and his contribution, laying the foundation of the forward bloc and INA. Okay, this is what he did. So try to understand things that you know very well that he was in the Indian National Congress, but he had a difference of opinion with Gandhiji. So the rise of Subhash Chandra Bose on the political horizon of India is an important event in Indian history. It is very important, and he is regarded as an eminent fighter for the freedom of India. There's no denying about it. For his courage, sacrifice, and boldness, he is popularly known as Netaji. Now, can anyone tell me that who gave him this title? Netaji. Sir, kindly unmute Shashwat. He has raised his hand.
Sir, Adolf Hitler.
Adolf Hitler? No.
Yes.
No. He was given the title of Netaji by Mahatma Gandhi. He, as well as the Indian National Army organized by him outside India, played an important role in the freedom struggle of India. So remember this, these things are important, that it was he who organized the Indian National Army or Azad Hind Fauj. It's another name of Indian National Army. So it was founded by Subhash Chandra Bose. Then his career. Subhash was born on January 23, 1897 in a Bengali family at Cuttack in Orissa. After completing his early education, he joined the Presidency College at Calcutta. Okay. So what he did, he joined the Presidency College. Once he attacked his English teacher for calling Indians as inferior people. So naturally he was very angry, and that's why he attacked his teacher. As a result, he was expelled from the school. So this thing happened. This incident proved a turning point in his life. Now you might be asked that what incident proved a turning point in the life of Subhash Chandra Bose? Okay. So the expulsion from the college. Then after passing his BA examination, he went to England for higher studies. He passed the ICS examination in 1920, getting 4th position. So how good he was, okay, that he passed the civil services exam and secured 4th position. But he soon resigned his job and joined the freedom movement of the country. Though he did not agree with Gandhiji's policies and programs, yet he took an active part in the non-cooperation movement launched by Gandhiji. So you should know about it that although he did not agree with Gandhiji's policies and programs, still he took an active part in all the programs launched by Gandhiji, like non-cooperation movement. Okay. He bitterly criticized Gandhiji when he withdrew the movement in 1922, when he suspended the non-cooperation movement. Then Subhash Chandra Bose criticized Gandhiji. He also participated in the civil disobedience movement of 1930. He again criticized Gandhiji when he withdrew his agitation in 1933. So if you remember, it was also withdrawn. The civil disobedience movement was also withdrawn. So at that time, it was Subhash Chandra Bose who criticized Gandhiji. He, along with Nehru, this is also important. He over here means Subhash Chandra Bose, along with Jawaharlal Nehru, was a strong supporter of socialist ideas. Means everybody has the right to prosper, has the right to earn. Okay. Rift with Gandhiji and formation of forward bloc. So as we have discussed that there was different of opinion between him and Gandhiji, and that led to the formation of forward bloc. He left the Indian National Congress and formed it. So how it happened, how it took place. So by 1937, Subhash Chandra Bose had attained good reputation. So he was well known all over the place. Okay. And he differed with Gandhiji's policy and his methods of dealing with the government. He advocated a radical reorganization of the Congress. He said that Congress should be reorganized on a new principle with a new method. Okay. This was his demand under a new leadership. Okay. Under the influence of socialist ideas, the younger section of the Congress had lost faith both in the non-violent program, which had made very slow progress and yielded poor results, and in its leader, Gandhiji. So most of the Congress people at that time had lost faith in the policies adopted by Gandhiji, that is non-violent method. Subhash became the hero of the younger congressmen who believed in socialism and aggressive methods. So there, the younger congressmen, okay, you should mark it that these younger congressmen, they believed in socialism and aggressive methods. Okay. So they sided with Subhash Chandra Bose. What happened as a result of this? As a result of his popularity, Subhash was elected president of the Congress in 1938. So he was so popular that he became president of Indian National Congress. He laid great stress on national planning, unity, and organization of the masses for the national struggle. Now you have to remember, you can underline and you remember all these things. Okay, that he laid great stress on national planning, unity, and organization of the masses for national struggle. The war clouds were gathering in Europe. Second World War was about to begin. Subhash wanted India to prepare India to launch a struggle against the British if the war broke out in Europe. He was of the view that the British cannot afford to fight on two fronts at the same time with Germany and India. So it's the time that we can revolt against them. He was opposed to any compromise with Britain. At the same time, he favored the policy of large-scale industrialization. So he favored this also, that industry should be set up in India. Okay. So he was in favor of this. On the other hand, Gandhiji was opposed to this policy of industrialization. So this was the rift between them, one of the rift between them. He also wanted to adopt a compromising attitude towards the British. This was the view of Gandhiji, and opposed any national struggle during the war. And Gandhiji said that during the time of war, when the Britishers are in trouble, we should not start any national struggle. The breach between Bose and Gandhiji had become very wide by now. So what happened? That the gulf between the two of them increased. In the election to the president of the Congress held in January 1939, means in the next year, Gandhiji supported Pattabhai Sita Ramaiah. Okay. So in the year 1939, Gandhiji supported him against Subhash Chandra Bose to become the president of Indian National Congress. Subhash was, however, elected. But Subhash Chandra Bose got elected by a vast majority of delegates who supported his views. So there were many who supported his views. So he got elected. uh, in a meeting of the Congress held on March 10, 1939, he urged that the Congress should issue an ultimatum to the British government demanding independence within 6 months and should simultaneously prepare for a national struggle. So this was his demand when he became the president again next year. Okay. What happened? In the meantime, Gandhiji declared the defeat of Subhash's rival as his own defeat. So he said that it was like his own defeat. I supported Sitaramaiah and he got defeated. As a result, 13 members of the Congress Working Committee resigned. A request was made to the president to nominate the working committee according to the wishes of Gandhi. So this was the request made to Subhash Chandra Bose. Majority of the delegates who had supported Subhash for presidentship reaffirmed their faith in the leadership of Gandhiji. So most of them left him now and they went in favor of Gandhiji. It created a deadlock between Subhash and Gandhiji. The Gandhi wing began to oppose the president with a view to make it impossible for him to function. So how could the president function if the members don't allow him to act on his own? Subhash could not tolerate to be a puppet president. So he didn't want that for name he should be president and rest of the powers should be with Gandhiji. Okay. He resigned. So keeping this in mind, he resigned from the presidentship of Congress on April 29, 1939. Okay. He resigned on this date. Remember the date. The radical elements of the Congress left wing were responsible for Subhash's election as president of the Congress. Now the radical elements, those who were in favor of violent means also, these people were responsible for Subhash Chandra Bose's election as president. They were in majority, but they failed because they were not organized. Why they failed? Here is the key reason. They were not organized under one leadership like the Gandhi wing. Okay. Subhash felt the need of an organized and disciplined left wing party in the Congress. Now, do you know what's left wing party and right wing party? Can anyone tell me about it? Is there anyone? Again, Shaswat. Okay. Sir, unmute him.
The left wing means opposition, sir. Right nowadays, left wing is referred to opposition.
And right wing?
Sir, the party in rule.
No.
The right
Anyone
wing.
else? Okay. Yes, Mayank.
Sir, left wing means that those people who supported Subhash ji, and the right
No,
wing
child.
people means those who supported
No,
Gandhi ji.
no. Somebody else also raised hand at that moment. Amita. Yes, Amita.
Yes, sir. Sir, the right wing was the wing which has more power than the left wing, whereas the left wing was under Subhash Chandra Bose controls.
No, child. Okay. Try to understand. Right wing is very Yes, Manjari. Let me see what.
Sir, left-wing party constitutes of radicals and socialists, and right-wing are of reactionary.
Okay, left wing, fine, they are socialist. They think that there should be equal rights for everyone. Okay, people should progress. favorably or properly? Yes, Anukriti?
So the right wing party includes the conservatives, and the left wing it includes the radicals.
Okay. The right wings are very conservative, they are very orthodox, they pursue a particular religion. Okay. So they are known as right wings. Okay. Like uh, Aryan supremacy pursued by Adolf Hitler. Okay. So it was right wing. Then many a times BJP is referred as a right-wing party because it goes ahead with its policy of Hinduism. So it's given a title that it pursues right-wing politics. So after resigning from the presidency of Congress in 1939, he laid the foundation of a radical and progressive party within the Congress with a view to bring, it should be to bring, it's written to bring the entire left wing under one banner, that everyone should come under the banner of one party. Okay. So over here, it's very important that chief objectives, what were the chief objectives of the forward bloc? It was Subhash Chandra Bose who founded the forward bloc. But what were the objectives? What were the aims of this? So, as discussed above, the new party founded by Subhash Chandra Bose within the Congress in 1939 with a more radical and progressive objective came to be known as Forward Bloc. So, if you are asked anything about the Forward Bloc, you can write about this. That within the Congress, it was, just a minute. So, you people can highlight if you want. It will help you while you are going through it. Then these are already highlighted. I have marked it also. You do it in the same manner. To organize all the progressive and radical elements in the Congress under one head. This was one of the primary objectives of the forward bloc, that everyone should be taken together. Then second, to vehemently oppose the British government, wholeheartedly oppose them, to struggle for immediate liberation of the country and start just immediately for the liberation of country and establishing a socialistic society after achieving the independence. So these were the objectives. Now, what were the achievements? You have an aim, you have an objective to score above 95% in the board exams. Now, what are the achievements? We come to that. It succeeded in organizing all the progressive and radical elements in the Congress under one head. Fine, all of them came together. It vehemently opposed the British government and made it feel that its days were numbered. So good, it was able to do whatever it wanted. It took all possible steps for immediate liberation of the country also. It did all for the establishment of socialist society in India under the leadership of Subhash Chandra Bose. Now, Subhash Chandra Bose and socialism, we are talking about socialism, socialistic ideas. So coming to that, the 1930s saw the rapid growth of socialistic ideas within and outside the Congress. It was due to the great economic depression of 1929. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose played the most important part in popularizing the vision of socialistic India. Especially when he was elected the president of Congress in 1938 and 39, he did a lot in this direction. So if you are asked to name a leader who did a lot for bringing socialistic views in India, so you will write down the name of Subhash Chandra Bose and Jawaharlal Nehru. He suggested different measures to establish a socialistic society. He suggested the abolition of zamindari to end the exploitation of peasants. What happened? The zamindars were almost the ruling class, and they used to exploit the peasants. Okay. They used to keep the bulk of things with them and just give a very small amount to the peasants. He urged the government to reduce the land revenue and make proper arrangement of rural loans. So he asked the government to do this. Then, so this was for the benefit of people. He took a great part in the foundation of All India Trade Union Congress. So if you hear, we have different trade unions. Just now, different trade unions are giving their support to the farmer agitation. So trade unions, if you might have heard that railway is going to be privatized, so these trade unions are against it. They say if it's not sick, it's not a sick industry. What do you understand by a sick industry? Anyone? No one knows what is a sick industry. My God. Sick industry means an industry which is not making any profit, but is under loss, giving loss and loss year after year. So that's a sick industry. So they are saying, and people, general people are asking that why railway and all these things which are giving profit to the government, why they are being sold to private hands. Okay. It's a big question on the BJP, the ruling party just now. So, along with Jawaharlal Nehru, to press the government for recognizing the demands of the workers, so they formed a trade union through which the demands of the workers could be put up in front of the management. Then formation of the Indian National Army and its main objectives. So the Second World War broke out in 1939. Because his national zeal and revolutionary ideas, the British government interned Subhash in his house in Calcutta. He was put under house arrest. He was not allowed to move out of the house. But he escaped from India in 1941 and went to Russia for help. So he escaped from there under the guise of a Muslim. Then he went to Afghanistan, and from there, ultimately he reached Russia. That's the main thing. But when Russia joined the Allies, means it joined US and Britain and France, he went to Germany. He left and went to Germany. In February 1943, he left for Japan. But over there, he thought that Germany was not going to help him. So he left Germany and came to Japan to organize an armed struggle against the English with the help of Japanese. In Singapore. So it was in Singapore that he found this. So do underline it. It's important. So you might be asked any question. Okay. That in Singapore, he organized the Azad Hind Fauj or the Indian National Army or INA for the freedom of the country. It was held by Ras Bihari Bose, an old revolutionary. He was a great freedom fighter, veteran freedom fighter. He had already organized the Indian Independence League. So what had Ras Bihari done? He had organized the Indian Independence League to attain complete and immediate independence of India. This was the demand of Ras Bihari Bose. Likewise, the Indian National Army had already been formally established in September 1942 with Mohan Singh acting as its first commander-in-chief. So try to underline these things. I have been telling you time and again that you might be asked anything. After taking the charge, Subhash Chandra became the president of Indian Independence League as well as the Supreme Commander of the Indian National Army. The INA was joined in large numbers by the Indians living in Southeast Asia and by the Indian forces in Burma, Malaya, and Singapore. He was called Netaji by the soldiers. He gave the call to his soldiers. So it was he who gave the call, give me blood and I shall give you freedom. This was one slogan that he gave. Another was Delhi Chalo, because the power was centralized in Delhi. So he said, come on, let's proceed to Delhi. We will throw away the British government from there. He set up recruiting and training departments as well. Training camps were opened for men and women. He also founded the Provisional Government of Free India at Singapore. So it was he who founded the Provisional Government of Free India. He formed the Government of India also at Singapore in October 1943. The government was recognized by 9 world powers. So 9 countries recognized it. Okay, including Germany, Italy, Japan, and just a minute. Burma. Okay, these countries recognized it. Thereafter, he started his military campaign against the English. The Japanese handed over the Andaman and Nicobar Islands to Netaji. So what the Japanese did, they conquered Andaman and Nicobar and gave them to Netaji. He renamed them. So he renamed, it was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose who renamed the Andaman and Nicobar Islands as Shahid and Swaraj Islands. Do remember this. Thus, he acquired the first stretch of territory in free India. So it was he who got some territory, but it was free, okay, from the British rule. Objectives of the INA. Why did he form the INA? The main objectives of INA were to organize an armed rebellion. Put a tick against all these points, you have to go through them. To organize an armed rebellion and to attack the British Army with modern arms. Second, the rebellion to be organized by the Indians living in East Asia. Third, to set up a provisional government of the Free India in order to mobilize the forces effectively. Fourth, total mobilization of Indian manpower and money for the rebellion. So these were the objectives. The Subhash Brigade. Okay. Now he named different brigades and gave them names. The Subhash Brigade was dispatched from Rangoon, now Yangon, towards Prom on the Burmese front in February 1944. The brigade captured Paletwa, Deltme, and Modoc and entered the frontiers of India. Later on, INA captured the strong military post of Klang Klang. The Subhash Brigade gave a tough fight to the British forces in the Assam hills and succeeded in capturing Ukhrul and Kohima. These were captured by the Subhash Brigade. Okay. The main objective of INA was to capture Imphal. They wanted this. Okay. The capital city of Manipur. Gandhi and Azad brigades advanced within 2 miles of Imphal, but the Japanese had to withdraw their forces and aeroplanes from the Indian border, Burma border, because of their entanglement with the Americans in the Pacific Ocean. So Japan had to withdraw its troops. Okay. At the same time, the rainy season set in. These two events turned the tide against the INA, which failed to seize Imphal. It wasn't able to control Imphal. Okay. The bombardment of Hiroshima and Nagasaki forced Japan to surrender in 1945. These fighters of the Indian freedom were also overpowered by the British army. So these were the things that happened. Then after the war was over, the government decided to prosecute 3 of INA officers. Who were they? Sehgal, Dhillon, and Shahnawaz for treason. They were charged for treason. Okay. It gave rise to a wave of anger and protest. So naturally, people became very angry. They started protesting against it. Okay. There were huge demonstrations all over the country. The court martials held the guilty, and they were convicted. Its moral values, but the government had to yield before public opinion. As a result, these officers were set free. Ultimately, they were set free. So we don't need to do significance and achievement. This you don't need to do significance and achievement of INA. It has been done away with the council. So we come almost to the end of the chapter. Then the lesson at a glance is given. I always tell you to go through lesson at a glance. Everything is given over here in short. Okay. So you have any doubts, clear it, but don't make mistake in the exams. Okay. So go through all this, then just a minute. I am stopping the share. Then remember, the short answer questions given have been done for you, those which are in your syllabus.